Hello and welcome, my name is Scout. Today we are going to be doing the Orilium Magical Readathon Spring Equinox Summer School. As you may have seen in my previous two videos, I did not complete the Orilium Spring Equinox for 2024 in the month of April. It is now May 1st and I have not completed the Readathon. And you know what? That's okay. The stars foretold it. I am not sad because this just means I get to enjoy more of the Readathon goodness throughout the rest of summer. This is something that G themselves, the creator of this readathon, has said is something you can do. This readathon is not about pushing yourself to the point of unenjoyment. This is still something that is for fun, so if you do not complete the readathon in a single month, which is kind of a lot for some people, and for others is really not a big deal, to all their own, you should accommodate yourself in what's going to make this fun for you, and I am accommodating myself by doing this as a full-time freelancer with a toddler who is home full-time in my care, being present, being better for my mental health, doing things for my health. And because of that, reading is a fun hobby of mine that shouldn't really be forced or too challenging. It's a leisurely activity that at the end of the day should be something I look forward to and bring me joy, not stress. I am over the moon excited to introduce my Orilium summer school vlog. I'm going to be taking summer school to finish up my spring equinox semester that I did not complete. We're going to be doing this before August 1st, which is supposed to be the autumn equinox. Full stop. The autumn equinox has been pushed to September 2024. Welcome to summer school. If you are joining me for summer school as well, or if you're just going to enjoy some summer reading, let me know down in the comments what you're reading and let's get into the video. Let's first start with a little recap of why we are here in this moment. Let's just do a recap in case you didn't see previous vlogs to let you know exactly how this has happened. The first book I read for this readathon, Iron Widow, and it was amazing. 5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend watching part 1 if you are interested in my very in-depth thoughts on this book and who I think this book is for. We're not going to go over that right now, but I was right in my review of this book that it did leave me triggered and it put me in a severe reading slump. Was not a book I should have chosen for a readathon, but there's no way I would have known that without reading it, so it is what it is, a little bit of a catch-22 there. It also gave me the depression, so we're still recovering. I am unwell mentally, and by that I mean I'm fine. I don't need hospitalization or anything. Nobody that knows me needs to be concerned about me. I've just not been in the mood to read. I've not been working very much. I had a client drop out in June, and I just never booked another person. I just needed some time off. I've leaned into the burnout I got really bad after the child's birthday. My child just turned 3. I wanted to spend some time with her. We went on our first camping trip in May. We've just been having a lot of fun as a family, making more memories and just kind of being more present. And I really think I needed that break. I really did. I don't think the book is a problem. Please don't misquote me. I think this book was excellent. The timing was off for me. I don't think I was in the headspace to be reading this, and I don't think a readathon was the time to read this because I didn't have the time to slow down afterward, and now I've been stuck in like a cycle of feeling guilty about not reading because it's a readathon. That happened. I read a different book in part 1. It was a graphic novel for a different video, and that was really good. I read another book while I was camping that was for my reading Shifter and Monster romance series, but otherwise I've not been reading and I've not been doing anything readathon related. So filming content and editing content has been really hard for me with the burnout and the depression and the PTSD symptoms that Iron Widow brought up in me, but I feel ready now. I've taken my time to recover and to give myself the space and the time that I need to recover, and I think that's an important part of growing up and becoming an adult, is knowing when to stop, and so I'm glad I took that time. Let's talk about the plan. So I'm going to go through today and figure out if any of the books that I have read that weren't part of the readathon in the last 2 months could be applied to the prompts, and then I'm going to pick the shortest books from that list and apply multiple prompts to them so that I only have like 2 or 3 books to read this month. I know one change I'm for sure gonna make is the color pick one. It was peach was my color. I had originally picked the Dragonette Prophecy, and I'm halfway through this. I've already read this book in graphic novel form and I'm enjoying it, but I'm just not in the mood to read it physically specifically, but I'm also not in a place to be listening to audiobooks because it's too hot outside to be walking, which is when I generally read audiobooks. It's hard to listen at home with, you know, a toddler that I need to keep safe, and part of that is being able to hear her. So I'm switching the color wheel one to Creepers, book 2, Stage Fright by Edgar J. Hyde. I chose this for my video series where I read books from the Dollar Tree, and I'm hating this book, okay? But I hate reading this book. I'm taking notes on it. Here you go. Look at all that. Every chapter I just make a bulleted list of what I hated, what I liked, and it's a long list of what I didn't like. I've only liked one positive aspect of this book so far. It's very offensive in terms of the oppression of women, reinforcing misogynistic and sexist ideals in children, and it's whitewashed and obviously inaccurate and harmful portrayals of witches, which again is a very female oppressive imagery used by society and the church and political things in the media. You get the point. But I am almost halfway. It's a very quick read and I need to read it for the video series anyway, so we're going to knock 2 birds out with 1 stone, getting this video done and getting this book out of the way, and applying it to the readathon is going to, I think, give me enough motivation to get through this, which will help the readathon overall. So this cover does have peaches all over it. It's hard to see on camera. It's not reading as peach, it's reading as yellow on camera, but there's definitely peach tones all over this book. It's pink and peach is what I'll say. I'm gonna count it, I can do what I want. And then I'm still going to try to read The Golden Orchard because it's a short audiobook. I think I can do it if I just have 2 days where I do like a deep clean of the house and I can listen at the same time. And then I'm going to insert, I believe, a graphic novel. I think we're gonna do the new Wings of Fire graphic novel. It's short. I don't remember which prompts this applied to, but I remember it applying to at least 1 or 2 of them. I will update you once I have actually read something and have a plan for how I'm going to read. Thank you for bearing with me on this very chaotic and not very inspiring journey this month. Hello, it is mid-July, but I do have a reading update for you. I am halfway through The Golden Orchard. I have about 2 hours and 15 minutes left of the audiobook, which is going to be easy peasy to get through this week. I'm so excited to finally mark off another book on the list. I'm not loving Stage Fright, so it's harder for me to get through, but it is short, so I am planning to binge it this weekend when my husband goes off to travel. We only have about a week left here. Let's see if we can just knock it all out at the end here before the autumn equinox begins. Hopefully I will be finished with this book either today or tomorrow and we can finish out Stage Fright. But my husband is traveling next week, which helps with how much time that I will have to listen to books, because instead of doing the dishes while spending quality time with him, I'll be listening to an audiobook while I do the dishes before bed. I'm gonna miss him, but it does mean I will have more reading time. Anyways, I am off. Okay, so I have finished The Golden Orchard. It's the next day, and What an amazing book. Not that I thought this book would be anything but good. It ended up being great. I'm very surprised. I'm very pleasantly surprised by it. The messages were great. I love that it was a complex time travel, interdimensional novel for kids, which enforces the school of thought that I share with many other authors and writers and reviewers, that children are not dumb and they can handle these concepts if served to them in a way that they can kind of digest. And this book did an excellent job. I just posted a video about all of the food universe and themed books that I have read and ranked them for you based on what I think you should read and your tastes and just what I enjoyed the most out of the 10 that I had read. And I just posted that. Check that out if you're interested, but I read this book immediately after posting that video and it would have qualified for a food book in my opinion. They time travel based on the meals that they remembered eating, so they make a certain meal to go back to a certain memory of theirs, something that they've lived through. This would have qualified for that video, so we'll have to make a part 2. Make sure to leave me comments for food-based books because I want to include this book. It was really, really good. Here's my final rating for the book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you enjoy middle grade books that deal a lot with family but also adds a sci-fi, existential, interdimensional, kind of portal-like concept, then I would highly recommend checking this out. It was very excellently written. It was easy to consume. It is an Audible original, so do keep that in mind. If you do not support Amazon, then obviously this is not going to be for you. I personally got it for free, so I said, whatever, let's give it a shot, and it was really good. I'm so glad I finally picked this up. It's been in my Audible account for a very long time. I'm going to count that book for one of the lore quests as well, which included portals, because it does talk about it like going through a portal using food. I'm gonna count it because it gave me that vibe before I even looked at the portal prompt for lore, and then I saw portal book for the lore quest and I immediately was like, yeah, this book should definitely count because the way it's described makes sense in the book itself. So very happy to have completed that. I am now moving on to stage fright. I haven't made any progress since we last spoke. I'm also doing that for a separate video, so I need to get on this book. In other news, I got a haircut yesterday. I'm pretty happy with it. What do you think? I like it. It's a little more like than I typically would request, but she did what felt right for my face, and honestly, kind of living for it. I also got this top today and it matches my glasses, which made me happy. That is all for this update. I will update you when I have made more progress with stage fright, which will be when I finish it. In the next update, we'll take a look at the course schedule for the spring equinox and make sure there's no gaps that I missed, and then we'll fill those in and then finish out the lore stuff that we haven't finished, if we haven't finished. Anyway, I'll update you when I finish stage fright. Okay friends, I've rearranged what my plan is for this spring equinox for summer school so I can actually complete this in time. We are in July right now, so we are cutting it close. Who procrastinated here? Me. So let's just talk about what we have accomplished so far and how we're going to accomplish this in the next few weeks. So I finished The Golden Orchard recently, which I am going to use for 4 different prompts because it happens to apply to 4. I did not pay for this book, which is Demonology. This was just an Audible book that I got for free because I'm a Prime member. And then I had chosen 3 random slips from my crystal ball, as you saw in my creating my TBR for the Orilium Readathon, and I picked this book, so that one worked out. And then there's the lore side quests, and I'm not going to spoil it, so I'm just going to say what the prompt was and not what choices I made and if they were right or wrong. The portals one, I had to read a book with portals, and this book describes it as a portal-like thing. I'm going to count it. So in the Golden Orchard, there are a portal-like mechanic going on, and then we have a door on the cover, which was also a lore side quest. And again, I am gonna count portals, the trees, the orchard within the Golden Orchard, which is a major part of the book, which is also on the cover. The trees, the orchard, they are doors into people's lives. So I'm gonna count that as a door on the cover because the trees are the doors. Don't question it. Iron Widow covered the Zodiac recommendation. We have the color wheel option, which is Stage Fright, which I actually need to tell you about because I just finished this last night. And then Winter Turning has a moon on the cover. This is a graphic novel that I plan to read. I'm also going to use this for my prediction bingo and for the Could Cure a Reading Slump, because I am using this to cure a reading slump that this book gave me. That's kind of the plan. Everything else has been covered. If I've missed a prompt, just assume it's already been covered. This was just my checklist that I've been using for the last few days, and I feel pretty good about it. The last book I need to finish now is Winter Turning, which is a graphic novel that I am about a quarter of the way through already. And it's a graphic novel, it's a Wings of Fire book. It's gonna bring me joy, and it's going to be a very quick and easy read. So we are going to accomplish this, and I am so happy about that. I am a little behind on my Adventure in Aldea year reading is what I'll say. That's disappointing me right now. So let's talk about the most recent book that I finished for this, Stage Fright. I am also reading this where I break it down very intensely. I have very intense notes for this book. For example, here I have this note card with just so many thoughts. I'm using this to break down the book basically chapter by chapter, plot point by plot point, in a separate video where I read books from the Dollar Tree. And this is the second book in a series that I have been reading from the Dollar Tree. Spoiler alert for that video series, although I would probably recommend watching it so you can get the deets and the quotes and little screenshots and the up close about why this book is just so awful, and kind of awkward laugh with me about it. But this book did not do it for me, and I think I liked it even less than The Piano, which the bar was low. The bar was on the floor. This isn't doing it for me. The color wheel option I had spun, as you may have seen in my setting up my Orilium TBR video with the color wheel and everything, was peach, and this book has a ton of peach. It's on camera, this cover is really strange color, but in person it's very peachy, orangey pink. So I'm gonna count that, especially the back here. And I'm glad I got it out of my way. I'm glad I got the witch one out of the way. I'm glad that I don't have to read this book in particular anymore. I'm hoping book 3 will just be the same energy as The Piano. Not good, but not as blatantly offensive and stereotyping and prejudice as this one is. 1 star, because I have to give it a star. 1, a half star, 0 stars if I could, but a 1 star for Goodreads. Check out that video if you're interested. Now we are on to a book that is great and going to cure this reading slump I'm dealing with, Winter Turning. I am so excited about this book. I am about a quarter of the way through it now, thoroughly enjoying it. What a great book. The only reason I didn't finish it last night after I finished this one was because I ended up staying up late talking to my mother-in-law in the living room. It was lovely. We had spent the night over there, me and the kiddo, because my husband's traveling. The kid wanted to have a slumber party at Nana and Papa's, so we went and had a slumber party, and it was lovely. I'm going to be making my bingo board tonight for Winter Turning. I know I've already started reading it, whatever. I'll only do things from here on out that are after what I have read. That will be a lot of fun. I will put it right here when I am done. Look at it, it's amazing. I'm sure it was really hard to do. I've been trying to think of things to put in it for the last few days before I make it, brainstorm, you know. I'm having a very hard time thinking of things to do for the bingo board. I will update you once I have finished Winter Turning and done a last check through to make sure that I haven't missed any prompts, and then I will take you with me to see a final flip through of the reading journal after I have put all the covers in and everything. Alright friends, I finished the final book for this readathon, finally. A week early. I would like to applaud myself for not actually taking this to the last few hours of the readathon as I've done before. Extended readathon, summer school. This year was really hard, but if I'm being honest, it was more fun to draw it out than to try to read the books all in 1 month. I feel like I got to sit with each book a lot longer and kind of enjoy each one for what it was and feel the right vibes of each book for the length of time that I was reading it, instead of binging a bunch of books all at once, which can be very fun. I think doing a series like that makes more sense, but extending this into summer school was a great experience for me personally. I may continue doing that for spring equinox in the future. We will see if I end up doing that for the autumn equinox this year or not. I may extend it into October at the latest. I don't think I want to go into November and December because of Lightfall. I think extending the autumn equinox into October, doing August to October, would be nice because I am picking books that are more autumn themed. So reading them in the autumn, it just kind of makes sense. And then I can overlap with the adventure and Aldea prompts, and that just kind of getting extra checks, extra points helps me to feel more motivated to pick up the next book and accomplish more. We're all here to have a good time. But I finished today Winter Turning. It is July 24th actually. I only took about a day to read this. I just stopped in the middle of it, so I just picked it right back up today, and I'm so happy that I did. What a good book. I did the bingo. The only 2 bingo prompts that I didn't get in this book, I didn't guess correctly, is Scarlet. I wouldn't say is very prominent in this book, so she didn't really do anything selfish or violent. In my opinion, she wasn't present enough to count that one as a win, so we didn't get a blackout, but that's okay. We still got a bingo. And then the other one I don't think counts. I don't think any loved characters in this book. I think there was definitely some unaliving of characters, but they weren't any of the main crew that I felt attached to, or that I feel like most people would feel attached to. I don't feel like we lost anybody super important here. We definitely got a reveal about the Nightwings. We definitely got a revision of history that was incorrectly passed down. The main character definitely gained new perspective, definitely saw the value in other cultures and the problems with their own culture. We got to see them appreciate the underdog of the group, which was also great. There's a little bit of a formula to this series. There's going to always be certain aspects in it that come up, like the characters changing their minds about things, learning about new cultures and history, being retold the proper way and finding out the truth when it had been really twisted to control people, or dragons, I guess. Excellent book, 5 out of 5 stars. I'm so happy to finally be done with this readathon. Not like finally done as if I wasn't enjoying it, but I'm happy that I have now completed it, squared it away. I was concerned for a minute we wouldn't succeed, but we did, and I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. If you are interested in more Orilium videos, I will link the playlist down below and up top. Thank you for watching. If you participated in Orilium, let me know how it went for you down below and what books you read. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe and stay kind, siblings.